Finally tonight, leaning in for our daughters, our sisters, Sheryl Sandberg, the COO of Facebook and on the board at Disney, our parent company, back tonight with new help. A game changer, you could say, from the men and women of the NBA in the fight to make things equal.
Hey everybody, let's all lean in together.
Show the world you support women at work and at home.
LeBron James among the faces tonight, men and women, basketball stars, pledging to lean in together. When you have basketball players saying that they're going to lean into, how powerful is that?
So powerful, because in order to get to equality, we need men to lean in as much as women.
The conversation Sheryl Sandberg started about women leaning in is tonight about to add new players to the game. How important do you think it is that men become part of this conversation too?
It's critical. We will never get to an equal world unless men lean in. And the important point is, equality is not just good for women, it's good for men themselves.
And she says there's evidence. Take startups, new companies that have more than double the average number of women executives. They generate more revenue. So you've made the case here that it makes sense to have more women.
From a business point of view, we know that teams, companies that have more women and more diverse leadership outperform others. If we get to equality, our economy will grow faster and our companies will be more successful. It's not a zero-sum game. Companies that grow faster have more jobs and promotions for everyone. Economies that grow faster have more jobs for everyone.
But she says it has to start young. Fathers showing rather than just saying, sharing the housework, the laundry. WNBA star Elena Delle Donne in the PSA speaking about her brother. One of my favorite parts is when you hear her say, my brother used to
My
pick
brother
me.
would always pick me above his friends to be on his basketball teams.
He would pick me before he picked the boys. How powerful is that?
It's really powerful. When you look at women who have had successful careers, whether they're in the WNBA or they're executives, or even women who feel very successful doing anything, they have men who are supporting them, and that's part of what we're emphasizing. You hear Sue Bird in the PSA talking about how those moments change you forever.
One of the things that you suggest if you're parents and you're going out with the family, let the daughter order at the restaurant.
Assertiveness is a skill like any other, and we teach our sons more of it than we teach our daughters. There are small things you can do every single day. Ask your daughter, what is she nervous to do, and help encourage her to do it. Let her order for the family in a restaurant. Show her by example that you respect women that have voice and have opinions. We have to treat our sons and daughters equally. By middle school, parents have higher career and leadership aspirations for their sons than their daughters. And even if they're not aware of that, those messages translate.
And Sandberg's research shows something else in the home. We have a wage gap in this country that begins when you're a toddler.
Toddlers. We pay little boys more for chores than little girls, and they do fewer of them. The toddler wage gap is real.
When people hear that boys get paid more for chores at home, they might think, well, I don't do that in my house. But just think of the trash.
That's right. Boys take out the trash, girls set the table, and boys get paid more. But we can change this.
Equal pay, she says, and equal duties for mom and dad. How powerful is it for a child, a daughter, to see her dad doing the dishes?
So powerful. By the age of 14, young girls who have fathers who do things in the home have broader career aspirations than those who don't. No amount of "you can do anything, dear" is actually as important as your daughter seeing you doing the dishes.
But how does that translate? I mean, how does seeing your dad do the dishes translate into success for you?
It means that you believe that men and women can have equal roles. The world does not fully support women as leaders or men as caregivers. And when we show girls and boys that their fathers are caregivers, it also makes room for women and girls to be leaders.
And not just the chores at home, the chores at the office. The note-taking during the big brainstorming sessions, she argues, should be shared.
Women are doing more office housework, taking notes, planning the parties, doing the communal stuff, helping others.
How often is the person who's taking the notes the one that makes the killer point, as you say?
Person taking the notes almost never makes the killer point. And that's why it's really important that we share those chores and we celebrate both men and women for doing them.
And she says how fitting the NBA now joining to lean in together. That recent headline, Becky Hammon, the first female full-time assistant coach in the NBA.
The NBA is really led across a lot of things for women. You see women assistant coaches in Becky Hammon. You see women refs on the court. And the NBA really wants to make the case that their players are not just committed to being the center of the court in basketball, but they're committed to being the center of equality, the center of this conversation.
Tonight, so many lending their voice.
Help women aim high.
When men lean in, everyone wins.
And at Equinox, the players on board.
I think it's great because, essentially like all of those guys are role models. So, I think it helps.
What do you think?
Well, as the father of two daughters, I'm really happy about that, sure.
I think anything that promotes women, and whether it's on the court, baseball field, or in academics, I think it's great.
Which takes us back to that decades-old puzzle Sandberg wrote about. A father and his son are in a car accident. The father is killed, and the son is seriously injured. The son is taken to the hospital where the surgeon says, "I cannot operate because this boy is my son."
40 to 75% don't get the puzzle.
Can't
today.
get it.
In the puzzle, that surgeon is the boy's mother.
That's because when we see performance at work or leadership, we expect it to be male. And when we see caregiving and nurturing, we expect it to be female. And that's hurting all of us. What the NBA is showing with Lean In Together is that men can be caregivers, men can be fathers and husbands. Anyone who watched Kevin Durant give his speech when he became the MVP last year, his speech about his mother was incredible.
We wasn't supposed to be here. You made us believe. You kept us off the street, put clothes on our backs, food on the table. When you didn't eat, you made sure we ate. You went to sleep hungry. You sacrificed for us. You the real MVP.
70% of mothers work. Even with 2 working parents, the mother is doing the majority of the child care and the housework.
Now, so many NBA and WNBA faces pledging to help change that.
When people hear them say in their own words that I'm leaning in and here's why, how important is the why?
The why is critical. We are not going to get to equality until men understand that it benefits them. It benefits them in their workplaces, it benefits them in their home. The conversation around equality for too long has been led by women, taking place in women's forums. We consider balance between work and life a woman's issue. It's not a woman's issue, it's an everyone issue. And so this conversation needs every voice.
Our thanks to Sheryl tonight, and we hope you'll keep the conversation going. A list of tips at leanin.org. We thank you for watching this Wednesday night. I'm David Muir.